national columnist, international sensation, Bruce Arthur, dropping by with some good Raptors knowledge. I think the whole personality question on Casey is really interesting because I always felt like maybe that held him back in getting hired. But it seems like, I mean, he really relates well with players and is doing a good job of teaching the system there, so that's awesome.
Yeah, I can't comment on whether I would have preferred the Warriors to have gotten Casey.
You would have.
I enjoy Mark Jackson. I don't think he's the worst, but I think that would have been a very.
Did you
good
see that
choice
Keith
for a lot of
Smart
teams.
got extended in Sacramento?
I did. I am happy for Keith. Keith's a very nice guy, and I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Well, we're doing audience questions right now, and this first one comes from the old standby, Kirk Serious Face. Why is Rose the presumed 2012 Olympic starter over Chris Paul, and who would you prefer to start? I think he is the assumed because, you know, he won the MVP last year, and he's sort of a monster. But I thought that this would be a cool opportunity for us to pick our 12. I'm just going to name my 12 for the roster. I've got Darren Williams, Chris Paul, Derrick Rose, Tony Parker, just kidding, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Kevin Durant, Tyson Chandler, Chris Bosh, Kevin Love, Dwight Howard, Andre Iguodala, Kobe. I could be persuaded to move Iguodala for Westbrook or Griffin, possibly Aldridge. Yeah. Those are my alternates.
Yeah. I don't have some of those names down there. My starting lineup is Rose, Wade, LeBron, Durant, Howard, which it makes a lot of sense. I think it's weird that we as NBA nerds have kind of swung against Chris Paul and the Rose versus Paul debate, but you know it's just sort of happened. And on the bench, I have Bosh, Chandler, Love, Chris Paul, Harden, Iguodala, and I had to go with Westbrook over Darren Williams just because Westbrook's a little monster. And I know that Darren Williams is maybe better suited for the afternoon game, the international game. The afternoon game. I like that for me. That's a metaphor for the international game.
Westbrook wakes up at 4, so it's really a problem.
And it's tough. It's tough to leave Kobe off, but there was a recent Kobe buzzer beater, a quarter ender. I think it was against the Pistons, and the dude just looked stiff. He just looked creaky. Kobe's almost been defined by his fluidity. That sounds dirty. He's always been defined by his grace, and he's not looking the same. It's a very subjective thing to say about him because his stats are still pretty nice, but considering just his recent performances, I had to leave him off the 12 there.
Yeah, I think Kobe. I mean, I put Kobe on just because it's like not worth arguing about whether or not he's gonna make it. Like he's gonna be on that team. The Darren Williams Westbrook thing is interesting because Williams is a veteran of the team. He is, you know, he's older. He's a shooter. He's kind of like the Olympic point guard profile. But Westbrook was sort of a monster in the most recent Worlds, so that's going to be, and like it's just hard to imagine there being a scrimmage where you don't where Westbrook doesn't try to rip someone's head off to get that spot. Both of us had Iguodala, which I think betrays our love of facilitating defenders, and I don't know how well he's going to fit. And both of us had Love, which I think Kevin Love is just like such a no-brainer for this team. He and Bosh can both play on the court at the same time and can both shoot the international 3 at a high percentage.
Yeah, and that's what swung it for me because I think Aldridge is a better power forward than Love, for instance. But that if I was choosing between Love and Aldridge for the team, I'd have to go with Love. I think Westbrook. One of the reasons why I picked him over Williams is I think he can play that 2 spot, and I don't know if I said it aloud, but I kind of want Harden on the Olympic team on my 12-man roster.
Yeah, you did put him in there.
Does anybody have a game that's more suited to international basketball than James Harden does?
Right, and to play with other, you know what I mean, to play, like I would love to see them basically do a starting lineup of Westbrook, Harden, Wade, LeBron, Durant. Like, just do those two teams, top players, and see if the center from Germany or whatever can really handle LeBron. Like, I think that it's going to be terrifying when this team goes small. And the argument for Aldridge would be that he can guard one of the Gasols when they play Spain and still stretch the floor, whereas you can imagine Love having a little bit more trouble there.
I might have to switch that now that I think about it. I mean, we did this at a very fast pace in choosing these teams, and that sort of versatility might make me go with Aldridge over Love if I had to choose it over again. I think it was funny. Nate Jones was tweeting about how OKC, you might not expect it, but look for them to possibly amnesty Kendrick Perkins if they want to, re-sign or sign Harden and Ibaka. And I read that and I was thinking, of course they do that. Just not to get too derailed off topic.
Perkins is so bad.
He's awful. He's one of the worst players in the league. I know he has all that grit and heart and all that stuff that comes from playing next to Hall of Fame.
He doesn't have any of that mobility though, and every time they throw it into Perkins in the post, like a little part of my basketball heart turns to ash because that is just awful.
He is terrible, and they're on the hook for over $30 million a year. And if it comes between keeping old Kendrick and signing James Harden, I wonder who's going to get the axe there.